The recording has officially started. I'm here with Get Fit with Nick. Nick, go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? I'm Nick Osler. I was born and raised in Las Vegas. I live in Scottsdale now in Arizona. I got into fitness really when I was 18. I won my first competition in LA and was featured on Ironman magazine. And was kind of off to the races with fitness from there. I've done like 10 shows now and won 6 of them.
And I'll be putting your link tree on the YouTube. So click on his link tree. He'll have everything, his Instagram, his TikTok, everything. So if you want to get his content, just, check out his link tree.
Yeah. And so I've been I really wanted to be buff since I was a child. I just thought that it was cool. And so when I was 16, I started working out every day and really studied it a lot before because my dad didn't let me lift weights until I was 16 because he didn't want me to stunt my growth. To my knowledge, that was actually debunked, that's not a real thing. But
okay, a quick question. I got to ask you this. What's your max bench press that you've ever done with deadlift and squat?
500. I've done 500 bench press, and it was with a bench shirt on. The most that I've ever benched, like no bench shirt, no help at all, was 455, and I was 212 when I did that. And then for squat and deadlift, I've done 585 is the max.
Jeez. I will never do that in my lifetime. I'm just trying to get to like 300, and I'm happy.
Man. Yeah, I mean, I was gifted at that. I could bench 315 when I was 16, so it kind of just came easily. And I just kept getting after it and getting after it and getting after it.
And so another reason why we clicked is Nick has been a high income earner, and hopefully, we'll go into detail maybe on another episode because we have other topics we want to talk about. But obviously, you made a lot of money, and you obviously didn't invest it, right? You probably spent it on things that you don't regret, and maybe you don't regret. But but now I feel like you're in finance. You're interested in investing and stuff like that, and that's how we kind of clicked. Because I honestly want to be better at fitness, and I'm obviously not at your level. And I think it's a little vice versa. But in reality, you've probably been making more money at a younger age than me. You just didn't invest it, right?
Yeah, I mean, especially because of the way that I was raised, I guess you could say. My parents, it's so weird. I was actually talking with my dad about this last week because we were having lunch, and I was like, why did you never, because my dad's in finance. My dad owns a financial firm and has an MBA and was a CPA by trade, but then really got into money management and things like that. And we don't need to get into that too much, but I was like, why did you never teach me about anything, nothing at all about investing? I had to learn everything myself. And so, especially when I was early 20s and started making 6 figures, started making 100, 150, 200K.
How old were you? Your first year that you made 6 figures, how old were you?
19/20.
19 years old, he's making 6 figures.
2013, I was in a couple of movies in LA that never ended up going to theaters, but I still was getting paid extraordinary amounts. Like I was getting paid like $800 a day to do that, which I thought was like, I was so rich because I was making like 25, 30,000 a month. I was like, oh, this is insane. So that was the first year, and I bought myself like a C63 Mercedes and like all of that. I just acted a fool, dude. I mean, I got like a Gucci dog tag that was like all silver and stuff. Like, yeah, I was acting a fool. So
the pro athlete, you basically were acting like a pro athlete, but that's why we're making this content on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Hopefully, you'll make some clips. I mean, we basically want to educate people, so you don't make the mistakes. Because I also made, my own mistakes in my 20s. I bought a Porsche and a Range Rover. So yeah, I mean, we all do dumb shit in your 20s, and you're supposed to, right? You're supposed to lose money in your 20s doing that dumb shit and learning your lessons. But the thing is, you're not supposed to make the same mistake in your 30s. If you're still making those mistakes, life sucks for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's stuff that you can learn about. Like, for example, in 2017, I think I made like $209,000, which was great because I was 23 and 4. And I was just cooking. I had my online training going, clothing going, was just having a great time, really printing money. But I was barely invested. I remember I bought Amazon when it was like $1,600, and I was like, I thought that I was too late, which is kind of funny. Like I was like, I don't know if this is a good idea. Ironically, it's like double that today.
What did you buy Bitcoin for? What was your first Bitcoin purchase? What amount, and did you end up selling it?
Yesterday, it was in 20 years towards the beginning of 2017, and it was like 1184.
Did you end up selling it, or did you hodl?
Well, this is the funny part. I didn't buy that much, first of all. I think I only bought like one coin, or no. We'll just say for reference sake, I bought one coin, and it was like 1184, and then I sold it in December worth like 19K. So I still profited a ton, but obviously it's almost triple that now. It is triple that.
You didn't get caught holding the bag, though. I mean, the one thing is you actually got out. So I was buying at the highs, when it was like 16, 17,000. But the best thing I did is I never sold, and I continued to buy the dip.
Right.
So that's been really good.
That's the two ways of going about it, because I want to touch on this real quick. Because all these people now are talking about like, oh, if you would have invested 1,000 in Bitcoin in 2013, then you would be worth $100 billion now. And you just see that everywhere. Like, oh, if you would have invested back then. Well,
let me tell you something, Nick. I actually did the math, and because my MBA at USC, this is another thing I kind of want to like preach to people, that education, if you don't really use the connections, can be a huge fucking scam. Oh man, I'm gonna have to edit that. But it can be a huge scam, just because I did the math. My MBA, that was 120 grand. If I had bought Bitcoin, which would be $300 in 2015 when I graduated, it was like I would have anywhere from 6 to 7 million. And then in 2012, Bitcoin was like under $100. So, because that's when I started my MBA, I'd have like 35 or like $40 million instead of getting that.
Just calculated about the same thing, where I was like, I remember the first time I got paid from the movie thing, from filming. I think that it was like 20,000 in 1 month for like the month, and I was sitting at the most. That was at the time the most that I ever had, and I was about to turn 20. I was 19 and like turned 20 this week, and I had like $35,000 to my name. And I always remember this because I went and bought a Mercedes like that week. And if I would have bought Bitcoin, it would be worth like 70 million, because it was worth like 70 cents at the time.
Yeah, sure.
And so I would have had like 4,800 coins or something like that. At 57,000, it would be worth like absurd amounts. But anyway.
Yeah.
So this is something that I want to touch on real quick. So back in 2017, when I really started making money, and this is for everyone that's killed it in 2020 and the beginning of 2021 with all of their investing, whether it's from like the GME stuff or crypto or what have you. A lot of people have made a shit ton.
What about buying solid companies? What about just buying Apple or Amazon? Why do people like it?
There's been a lot of people who have made money hand over fist and made extraordinary profits, like unheard of to the normal investor. I mean, even in a bull market, which we've enjoyed the last decade, basically, you've never heard of returns like what happened in the last 12 months. Never. But I want to touch on this real quick. In 2017, I went to the World Series. I went to the Stanley Cup. I went to the NBA Finals and a bunch of concerts and fun stuff like that. And to be honest with you, every single dollar that I spent on that was worth it. And so I want to touch on that, because I think that that's paying for memories and not stuff was not money wasted, in my opinion. And so finding a balance between doing stuff that you really enjoy, like the NBA Finals. I love basketball. So paying to go to the NBA Finals and go and watch LeBron and KD duke it out live. I mean, I was in the 9th row. Like, you can never replace experience like that. And the tickets were like probably $1,500 or something like that. Dude, I've made $1,500 100,000 times over since then. Like, I don't even think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
for me, I'm a little bit on the other end of the spectrum because, like, I've had season tickets to the Clippers, so obviously I've also gone to like a lot of sporting events and I enjoyed it. But I feel like since COVID, the best thing that's happened to me is I've obviously stopped spending money because, like I was spending, I don't know, like $10,000-$15,000 on season tickets. Now I was selling half of the games. But looking back, it is kind of a waste of time. And then maybe like as a kid, it's okay because like I was younger than the athletes. But like now that I'm older, like it just didn't make sense for me to spend $10,000 to go watch, kids younger than me play basketball. And I took all that money and that energy that I was spending. And obviously it was fun, like I'm not going to say I don't regret it. But I'm happy now that I'm okay with watching the game at home. But obviously I went to a bunch of live events. And now I take all that energy watching those grown men put the ball in the hoop. And I instead take that energy and like I'm buying stocks. And so like my LeBron is Apple, like my starting lineup. So like all that energy that I put into sports and maybe I can hopefully inspire other people too. Like you should like sports. And like, obviously if you want to go to NBA finals, do all that. But at a certain point, dude, you're watching kids younger than you.
To your point, was when I was 23. It's not like I'm 35,
no,
45.
No.
I was still a child.
Yeah.
I was a 23-year-old going through this stuff because I had never done it before. Doing it once and going and spending the money, especially when you're making $200K a year, $1,500 on the NBA Finals, not really a big deal.
No, yeah, for sure.
To do, and it's not like I'm going to games every weekend and like spending $1,500 a weekend. I'm not. But like going to cool events like that was worth it.
And it's better than the Gucci watch, right? Like instead of buying items, you bought the memory, right? Like it's probably better to travel. And
ironically, the chain got stolen. So
yeah, exactly. They can't steal the NBA Finals, that experience.
You can't steal the memories.
But you bring up a good point. So it's just like having a balance. But for me, I'm really happy that one of the things that the pandemic has done has made me realize that like I love pro sporting events and I'll probably still go. I don't know if I need to go to an NBA Finals. I actually like going to the crappier games because then there's like a bunch of empty seats. And I don't know if you can do this anymore, but I'd always move up. Like I love going to crappy games because, I'll buy like a really good seat in a good section, but like one of the furthest back rows. And then you'll see, rows that are like closer open up. Yeah. And like, if you go look at my Instagram, like I have where I was like on the ice for a Ducks game. And like, like a lot of those Instagram pictures that I flex, it was me just moving up. There weren't even my tickets, like, because like my season tickets, I was section 104, which is like a really good section, but I was row 14. And so any of those pictures on Instagram, I'm not sitting in my row 14. I moved up to row 5, or sometimes I moved up to row 2.
Right.
And that was a good hustle.
Totally. Speaking of sports, I want to touch on this real quick, and then we can call it a day. Especially because they're both, LeBron is in season 18, and, Tom Brady just won his, 6th Super Bowl?
6th or 7th. I don't know, man. He's won too many.
I'm surprised I forgot. He just won his 7th Super Bowl, and he's 43. So this is the last thing that I want to touch on because it all kind of ties together. Investing, sports, and health and fitness. Just how important it is for you to invest in your body because of the advances in science. LeBron's playing like an MVP, and he's in his 18th year. Most of the people that are his age aren't in the NBA anymore. Even guys like Dwayne Wade, who's going to be a Hall of Famer, that was drafted the same year as him, he's retired. Chris Bosh was in the same draft class. He's been gone for a while now. But LeBron is notorious. He came out and said a couple of years ago he invests $1 million plus in his body a year. And, obviously most people don't have $1 million a year to invest in their body. But really the principle is like it matters and it pays off in the longevity for you to take care of yourself. And these guys are a testament to that. So it's interesting. They're still performing at the highest level.
And so one thing, let's talk about your stuff that you're offering, because I will add your link tree to this discussion. So if you want to check out his social media, his TikTok, Instagram, it's going to be all in that link tree. So feel free to click on it. But go ahead and talk about your programs and stuff that people can take advantage of if they are looking. Because, what's the point of having a bunch of money if you're not healthy enough to enjoy it, And for me, fitness has actually saved me a lot of money, because going to the gym and working out consistently is actually pretty cheap and future medical bills that you are going to have to pay. So go ahead and talk about your fitness program.
Yeah, so it's cool. So I have been doing online training since 2014. I was really one of the first people to get on it about 7 years ago. And, that's offered me the opportunity to work with everyone you could think. I mean, probably over 2,000, 2,100 people now that I've trained online and in person combined. And so I actually got involved with an anti-aging supplement company a couple of months ago. And so instead of charging people for workout programs, nutrition, stuff like that, I'm actually just going to give it away for free. So if anyone is interested in a workout program to get in the best shape of their life, it comes with nutrition and workouts. I'm just going to send you a program. I've got a couple templates based on what you're trying to do that I can send you that I've used for people that have had massive success, whether you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to lean bulk, you're trying to just get as big as you can, or whatever your goals are. I have a program for you. So there's a link in my bio to just fill out your name, email, and I'll shoot that off to you.
And then another thing I want to bring up, maybe we can do this in the future. I like the idea of doing the fitness online. Now, I don't know if you'd be comfortable with this, but what if we do the same thing with like your stock portfolio? We do some consultation, and maybe we can even start out. We'll go over maybe some of the stocks that I hold, and we'll talk about it, and then maybe some of the stocks and stuff like that too. So it's like hilarious. You can work on your fitness, get some criticism, or get some tips on that, but also on your financial health, right? What are you investing in? And hopefully you're not just putting all your money into GME or like one really speculative asset, right?
Absolutely. It's funny because for anyone that knows me, I've always said my whole life, I just want to be buff and rich. And so that's really the thing that we're talking about here. I just want to be buff and rich. And if that sounds like you come to the right place. We'll drop some gems.
So Nick, help me get buff and help me get rich, okay? Nick is going to help me. Hopefully I can help you. I can't help you get buff, Nick. You're already too buff. But I can hopefully help you with maybe the rich part. But okay, yeah, we should go ahead and wrap this episode up. I think we got a good stuff going. And then also, please leave comment, guys, because what we're going to try to do with the format of this podcast or talk is, we're going to do one topic on fitness, one topic on sports, one topic on finance. And then if you guys leave a good comment, we will actually discuss your comments. And then another thing we can do too is a portfolio review, or even like a fitness thing if you want to do that. But yeah, if you're able to just leave us a link or a screenshot of stocks you want to invest in or your portfolio, maybe we can even comment on that too.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Right,
so I think
we'll talk soon, okay?
Yeah, great chat. I'll talk to you soon.
What's another